we will see how to convert a hex to ASCII and ASCII to hex number. In hexadecimal system, we are having the numbers from 0 to 9 and A to F. The corresponding ASCII codes are shown in the table. The 0 is having the ASCII value 30, 1 is having 31, and so on. 9 is having the 39. So the hexadecimal A is having the ASCII value 41, B is having the ASCII value 42, C is having the ASCII value 43, D 44, E 45, and F is having the ASCII value 46. So here we have considered that, so the hexadecimal ABCDE corresponds to the capital letters of ABCD. So if we see the table, so from 9 to A, so from 9 to A, so 9 is having the ASCII value 39. After 39, I am having 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, 3E, then 3F, 40. After 40, so for A, it is having the 41. So between 39 and 41, there are 7 numbers. So if I want to convert a hex to ASCII, if the hexadecimal numbers are from 0 to 9, then I'm going to add 30 to it. If the numbers are from A to F, so then I'm going to add 37 to it. So 30 plus 7, because between 39 and 41 there are 7 numbers. So totally I'm adding 37 if the hexadecimal number A to F are to be converted into the corresponding ASCII. So first I'll show how to convert the hex to the ASCII. So this is similar to conversion of BCD to the ASCII. Only the thing is I need to check whether the data is less than A, which means that between 0 to 9, and other the data is greater than or equal to A. So if the data is less than A, that is 0 to 9, I'll add 30. 30 in hexadecimal, otherwise I'll add 37 in the hexadecimal. So first step is nothing but get the hexadecimal data to be converted into ASCII. So here the hexadecimal data what we are considering is an 8-bit data. So in 8-bit data we are having 2 digits. For the corresponding 2 digits we are going to get the 2 ASCII numbers. So here first, similar to the BCD conversion, first I'll obtain the lower nibble of the hex data by ANDing with the 0F. So then I'll check whether that data is greater than or equal to 0A, which is for A to F. So if it is so, then I'll add 37 to it. Else, if the data is less than 0A for 0 to 9, then I'll add 30 to it. So whatever the lower nibble converted to the ASCII, I'll store it. I'll store the corresponding ASCII value. Later, I'll get the higher nibble of the hex data by ANDing with F0. So since I want the higher nibble, so I'll swap the nibbles. Later, again I'll check whether the data is greater than or equal to A, which is for A to F. If so, I'll add 37. Else, I'll add 30 to it. So later, I'll store the converted ASCII value. This is how hex to ASCII conversion takes place. Similar to BCD to ASCII, only need to consider about whether the data is between 0 to 9 or A to F. So I've taken an example of hex data A to B. So corresponding to the ASCII data that has to be generated is for A 38H, for B it is 42H. So I'll get the lower nibble by ANDing with a 0F. That is nothing but if I AND with a 0F, the higher nibble is masked. So the result will be only 0B will be there. So I'll check whether this 0B is greater than, whether it is greater than or equal to A. If it is greater than greater than or equal to A, I'll add 37. So B is greater than A, so I'll add 37 to it. So B plus 37 is going to be equal to 42, which is the ASCII value for B. I'll store the result. So next, I'll get the higher nibble by ANDing the data hex data with the F0 and swapping. So if I add with the F0, the result will be 80H. I'll swap the nibbles to make it 08. Since 08 is less than 0A, I'll add 30 to it. So my ASCII converted result becomes 38. So 38, which is the ASCII value for the hex 8. So this is a program to convert the hex to ASCII. The converted two ASCII values are stored in the location 30H and 31H. So I'll get the data 8B. So as it is taken 8B in the A register. So I'll store the data in R2 by using move R2 comma A. So then I'll add the data in A with the 0F to get the lower nibble. So once I get the lower nibble, here an ASCII subroutine has been written. So I'll use the instruction ACALL ASCII. ACALL stands for the absolute call. It's a 2-byte instruction. Whenever ACALL is going to be executed, the return address, that is nothing but the address of the next instruction, is stored onto the stack by the call instruction. So the PC is loaded with the address of the subroutine. The subroutine address of the ASCII is loaded into the PC and the control goes to the ASCII subroutine. So here what we have made is, so the value of A is stored in R4. So in the A we are having the 0B that is stored in R4, because I need to check whether 0B is greater than A or greater than or equal to A. So here we don't have a direct compare instruction. So we are using the subtract with borrow instruction. Again, I don't have a normal subtract instruction. It is subtract with borrow, because of which before applying the subtract with a borrow, I'll clear the carry using CLRC instruction. Now I'll make subtract with a borrow A comma 0A. So to check whether A is greater than or equal to 0A or it is less than 0A. So subtract A with a 0A I'll make. So after the subtraction, the result will be stored in A, because of which, so what I should do is, I want the B data, 0B data. The 0B data is in R4. I'll just move the contents of R4 to A. So after the subtract instruction, the carry flag will be altered based on the result. If at all the contents of A is greater than or equal to 0A, then the carry flag is equal to 0. So carry flag is reset. If at all the contents of A is less than 0A, then the carry flag is set. So now based on that, I'll use the instruction jump on carry. If the carry flag is set, which means that the data is less than A. So then you go to the skip label. In the skip label, for the contents of A, I'm adding only the 30H. So if the carry flag is not set, then the next instruction is nothing but add A comma 7 is going to be executed. So if the content of A is greater than or equal to 0A, then I need to add 37. So first I'll do add A with a 7. Later the next instruction add A with a 30 is executed. So totally 37 is going to be added to the contents of the accumulator if at all the the hex data is greater than or equal to 0A. So the result is there in the converted ASCII value is there in the A register. Next I am having the return address. The return address pops the contents of the stack on into the PC. So onto the PC we have stored the address of the next instruction following the call instruction. The pop instruction that pops out that address into the PC. So the control comes to the next instruction following the call instruction, where I'm going to store the content of accumulator into the memory location 30H as it is asked in the program. So the B is now converted into the corresponding 42 and it is stored in the 30 memory location 30. Next, again a copy of the hex data is there in the R2. I'll obtain it in the A. Now I want the higher nibble, so I'll add the contents of A with the F0. So now I obtained it as 80. So now I'll swap the nibbles in A. So swapping the nibbles in A makes it as 08. So after that, to convert this 08 to the ASCII, I'll call the subroutine ASCII by using the instruction ACALL ASCII. So ACALL stands for absolute call, and ASCII is the name of the subroutine. Whenever the call instruction is going to be executed, the return address, nothing but the address of the next instruction, is going to be stored onto the stack. So ACALL is a 2-byte instruction. For the PC, the 2 is added, which results in the address of the next instruction, and that is going to be stored onto the stack. And PC is loaded with the address of the ASCII subroutine. So now the control goes to the ASCII subroutine. Again here, the content of A is stored in the R4. The content of A is nothing but 08 is stored in the R4. Because A, I'm using it for the comparison using the subtract instruction, which alters the contents of the A. So because of which a copy of it is maintained in the R4 register. So again, already I said you, so subtract with a borrow instruction is there. So no direct subtract is there. So because of which I need to clear the carry. Subtract with a borrow A comma 0AH is used. This is because I don't have a compare instruction to compare the content of register A with the 0A. I'm using the subtract instruction. Later I'll check the carry flag. If the carry flag is set, which means that content of A is less than 0A. If the carry flag is reset, which means that contents of A is greater than or equal to 0A. Now in A I am having 0H and I'm comparing it with a 0A. So the content of R4 is moved to the A because once I do 8 minus 0A, so that the result of that subtract operation will be there in A. So because of which, so the copy of A I have stored in the R4, the R4 is obtained in A. After that, I'll check the carry flag. Since 8 is less than A, the carry flag is set. So because of which it goes to the skip label and adds 30 to the contents of A. So it's nothing but in the A I'm having the 38. A return address gets the control back to the next instruction following the call instruction, which is nothing but move 31 comma A. For that instruction, the control goes. It is the direct addressing mode. The content of A are stored into the memory location 31H. So we have used here sjump here just to stay in the loop. So if the monitor program does not exist in the microcontroller. Next we'll see how to convert ASCII to hex. So we'll take just a single ASCII data and we'll convert it to hex. So to convert the ASCII to hex, we'll check whether the data is greater than or equal to 41. Because if it is greater than or equal to 41, then it is for A to F. So if it is less than 41, then so that is the ASCII value for 30 to 39, which stands for 0 to 9. So if data is greater than or equal to 41H, then we'll subtract 37 from it. So if the data is less than 41, then we'll subtract 30 from it. And then we'll store the converted hex value. So for example, if the ASCII data is 45, so I'll compare it with a 41. So if since it is greater than 41, I'll subtract 37 from it. So the subtraction from 37 results in a value equal to 0E. So 45 is the ASCII equivalent for 0E. So after I subtract the 37, then I'll be having the corresponding hex value, which is the 0E. We'll see a program to convert the ASCII to X and which stores the result in the RAM location 50. So I've taken the data 45 into register A using the immediate addressing mode move A comma hash 45. A copy of it is kept in the R1. So because we are using the compare instruction, compare need to be done with the subtract instruction. Once I use the subtract instruction, the content of A will be altered, because of which a copy of A is maintained in the R1 register. Since I'm using the subtract with borrow instruction, I need to clear the carry. So using the instruction CLR-C. So to compare the ASCII data with the 41, we'll use the instruction subtract with the borrow A comma 41. So the content of accumulator A is subtracted with the 41 the result is stored in A. So after the subtract operation, the carry flag is going to be affected. If the content of register A is less than 41, then the carry flag is going to be set. If it is greater than 41 or equal to 41, then the carry flag is going to be equal to 0. So after the subtract instruction, so I'll check the carry flag. Before that, since the content of A is altered, a copy of the data is maintained in R1. So the content of R1, I've obtained it in the A. So I check the carry flag to check whether the number is greater than 41 or less than, greater than or equal to 41 or less than 41. So if the number is less than 41, it goes to the skip label. In the skip label, I'm going to subtract the hex data with the 30. So since subtract with the borrow instruction I'm using, I need to use clear carry first, then subtract the content of the A, which is the hex, which is the ASCII data with 30H. So then the result will be stored in the memory location 50 using the direct addressing mode. So if the number, so here I've taken 45. So 45 is greater than 41. So because of which carry flag will not be set. So jump on carry. So it fails, because of which the next instruction following the jump instruction is going to be executed. That is clear carry instruction is going to be executed. Then I'm subtracting the A with the 7, because if the ASCII data is greater than or equal to 41, I need to subtract 37 from it. First I subtract 7. Later in the skip label I'm going to subtract the 30. So totally 37 we are going to subtract, and the result will be there in the A register, and that A register content is stored in the location 50.